Hi there YouTube, Fairtech 2010 here again, and I'm going to start doing an in-depth look into cards based in Vanguard. And this week, to start with, I'll be talking about grade zeros in general. Now, basically, to start off, your most basic grade zero is this sort. It's basically a 6k vanilla with no effect at all. So, which would be used as your starting Vanguard. Now, instead of these, what you'd use instead are cards like this as your starter, which have less power but have the better effect. So, for instance, we've got Battle Riser, which is also a stand trigger for convenience, and when it gets ridden by a grade 1, it's sent to the rear guard, and when it boosts, it is returned back to the deck. So, in essence, this gives you advantage on the field without having to lose a card, in essence. Same thing with Conroe. He's got the same abilities when he's ridden, he gets to move to the back at any rear guard position, but on the other hand, when you counterblast one and discard, send him to the grave, you search your deck for any grade 1 or lower Kagero in the deck, which in itself is probably one of the better effects to have as a grade 0, only beaten probably by Barkle, because this can let you get any sword piece you need for your hand or protection in terms of Wyvern Guard Bari, just to protect. So just to cap, any grade 0 can be the starting Vanguard, but in reality what you want as a starting Vanguard is someone that gives you field presence straight away, or something that can give you advantage in terms of what your deck does as a strategy, which we won't really see until the later sets come out. Now, those are your starters. Now let's move on to what's probably the heart of any of the decks, which are the triggers. Now, running the triggers is basically how you prefer to play them. You can. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Anyway, yeah, the triggers. Let's start off with the heals. You're only allowed to run 4 heals, as if you had the option to, we'd all probably run 16 triggers in a deck, which on a note is the maximum amount of triggers that you can run. But you're only allowed to run 4 of these, 4 heals in total, no matter who, even if they've got different card names, you're only allowed 4 of them. Then you got your draw triggers. Now these, as it sounds like, they just let you draw an extra card once you've drive checked this. So what would happen is you'd reveal this, and then you draw another card from the deck, and you don't have to show your opponent that. So it's all good. And unlike any other the grade 0s, this one, if you can see, has only got basically a 5k shield, whereas every other grade 0 in the game has got a 10k. Now the draw triggers are the only ones that have got this 5k shield, and to be honest, I think it's because you get advantage from the draw that they do this, saving you having a 10k guard and then say drawing into another 10k guard. Next you have one of my more favourite triggers to use, which is the stand trigger. Basically, what it allows you to do is, if one of your rear guards is already attacked, it lets you and you drive check this, it lets you restand any rear guard that's put into rest. This also includes the rear guard behind the Vanguard after it's attacked. So you can if you've got an effect that can restand the Vanguard, you'll have a rear guard behind it that's already restood as well, which is pretty nice to have. And finally we have probably the most powerful one for obvious reasons, which is the critical trigger. Now what this does is lets you deal 1 extra damage if the attack goes through. So basically in itself, this is pretty much a game winning card by just drawing 1, because if your opponent's got 4 damage and you just draw 1 of these, and they don't guard or don't guard enough against it, that's an automatic 2 damage, and unless they draw a heal trigger, it's game to you. Now all the triggers do give you 5k extra power, which is always helpful, but in essence, when you're drawing the triggers, you have to decide on where you're going to put them. So for instance, on the critical, you can actually put the 5k on one monster and put the critical on something else. Same with the stand trigger. In essence, you don't have to give it to the 5k. Sorry about that. Phone call. Busy. So yeah, you can distribute the effects along wherever you need them to go. So in general, for the triggers, you run really what suits you best. So if you want to run 12 criticals, run 12. If you want to run 12 stands or 12 draws, then that's your choice. But it's best to mix and match to try what's best for you and see how you get from there. I hope this has helped you in some way, just to understand what... Oh, before I forget, all grade 0s can also boost as a rear guard unit, so if you've got something on the front row, it can also boost as well. So additional attack power, so it can give additional attack power to the front row units. So I hope this has helped you, and I'll be carrying on with this with the grade 1s next time, so I'll see you guys then.